This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening and welcome to Phatts TV on this Tuesday night, June the 23rd.
Really?
The countdown is on to my anniversary of my birth. We're under 10 days.
You get older. You go from old to older.
It's a very trying time for me every year. I don't know. It's amazing how these things just go by so quickly. It is amazing. So how are you, by the way?
I'm alright. I'm rocking.
Yeah? You're rocking?
We're rocking.
You're rocking?
I'm doing a whole lot of nothing. It's been a little hot, so I haven't really gone outside only gone outside like twice this week so far.
Yeah.
A little hot. Not really enjoying outside anymore.
Why not?
It's hot.
It's hot. Try walking in it every day.
That's a you thing.
It is.
Try playing disc golf. And then you lose a disc and you get pissed off, and it's even hot. It is hot, and you're pissed off, and you can't find it.
Today's walk was tough.
Why was today's walk
because
tough?
I had, as you know, wasn't long after I ate breakfast that I went for a walk, and bacon and eggs, and then walking. That was
it definitely was hotter yesterday.
Yes, but it was more humid today for sure. For sure.
Did you have moss growing on you?
I had everything growing on me by the time it was done.
Oh. Okay.
So it's June the 23rd, Tuesday night.
Hey, we go green in a few days.
We do go green. Friday we go green.
And you know, the county that I play disc golf in for a league stays yellow.
The one county stays yellow, yes.
You know, it's just kind of that one county.
Yeah. That one county stays yellow.
Wolf getting back at the county.
Yes. So, as you know, the last couple days have been pretty good for our stock portfolio.
That's true. All the money we kind of were losing, we gained right back.
But I want to tell you the story of one stock in particular. It's called Digital Locations, Inc.
Is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I see what it's at.
So, Digital Locations, Inc. Yesterday, I went out for my walk since I'm working from home, and for those of you that are regular watchers of the show, know I'm working from home these days. I do I do admit I do like my commute, the 40 or so steps from my bed to here to work. So I follow some stock guys, obviously.
You watch every time I come downstairs in the morning. You got Fox Business on.
Fox Business is on. I try to watch a little CNBC towards night. I'm a big fan of Kramer, Jim Kramer, not Seinfeld Kramer.
I usually wake up and look where my stocks are at. One of the first things I actually do in the morning.
Yeah, you didn't get up early enough today.
Nope.
It cost you a little bit of money today.
Yeah, like $30.
Yeah, well. So anyway, I go on my walk yesterday, and I get home, and it's about 5 after 1 or so. And, I'm a sweaty goober. So I go upstairs and take a shower. And in the time that I'm taking a shower, one of the guys that sends out the alerts about Digital Locations, Inc. So when I was done my shower, I came back down, and I had to go right to work. So it was till like 2 o'clock that I saw this alert. So he sends out this alert on digital locations, and the stock price was 0.7 of a cent. So it would have been an over-the-counter trade.
So you could have put like $1,000.
Yes. Now, the platform that you trade on, they don't do over-the-counter.
It'd be nice.
Yes. Yes. Well, so you'll have to switch platforms to like Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is a good platform. Trading is free unless you do over-the-counter. Then it's $6.95 a trade, which is a big deal. $6.95, big deal. So anyway, yeah. So if I saw it and decided to buy it, I would have sank about $1,000 into it. I would have sold some of Penn's stock that I have in Thinkorswim and bought this.
So 0.7. I have a stock that's like 2/100ths of a penny.
Well, yeah.
It's a digital stock.
Yeah.
It's cryptocurrency.
It's cryptocurrency.
Just in case it ever wants to basically blow up. I said, I'll put $10 into it. What if one day this blows up and becomes $1,000?
Yeah.
What's $10 gonna hurt?
Yes. So anyway, when I saw this alert finally, the first thing I did was go see what the price was. The price wasn't 0.7 of a cent anymore.
7 cents.
It wasn't even 7 cents anymore.
17 cents.
It was 17 cents. So
if you saw that right there, put 1,000 in, you would have made $17,000.
No, I would have made about $24,000.
$24,000.
It's $24,000.
Would you have sold it right then and there?
Well, see, that was the thing, because a lot of trading these days are done by computers. That's how all the money is really made, by computers. It hit 17 cents, and then 1 minute later, it was already back down to like 10.5. But then it kind of stayed there like the rest of the day. But today, this morning it fell back to somewhere around like 8 cents, 7, 8 cents. Mm-hmm. At 11 o'clock or 11:20, it climbed up to 35 cents.
Damn.
If I saw this alert, if I stayed in, my 1,000 would have been a little over 50,000 now at this point.
Damn.
Don't. So.
Then you would have wished you put like 10,000 into it.
It could have been early retirement. That literally, if I sunk all the money I have in the market into that stock, you could have had early retirement right there. I possibly would have made enough money to retire. Right.
You think? So you're saying you might have made like $500,000?
More than that. With all the money I have in the market? Oh, hell yeah. A lot more than that. Just think, for 1,000 you make 50. Oh, yeah. More than that. Before tax.
We have a word for something like that. For some people like you. It's like 7 letters.
Amadon.
That works. That's not 7 letters, that's 6.
You're thinking dumbass.
Yes.
I know but I didn't see it because I was taking a shower.
Maybe you shouldn't have took a shower. Yeah. Maybe you should have stank and saw it.
But we're doing pretty good. We got involved with the company for the same alert for IDEX. IDEX.
That company's not doing very good.
Yeah, but you just wait.
Tops did good for me today. They went up like 4 cents.
Idenomics. They're in a lot of different things. One of them is electric vehicles, and they're selling them to like municipalities, and they're getting orders out the yin yang. So they're saying this could be a $30 stock, and don't forget we bought it at like $3.
I have like 137 shares.
Yeah.
You're saying I should take out my order for Penn when it gets back down to 32 and put the 500 in that?
Maybe.
Because Penn could take a week to get back down to 32.
Yeah, we sold some of our Penn today at 36.
Yes.
Took a little profit sharing today. My connection to the chat room isn't connecting for some reason. Don't know why. don't know why it's not connecting. So if I can't see your chat tonight, I'm sorry.
Go up.
No,
Go up. So I can see how many people are watching. There we go.
400, 4,000.
4,000.
So anyway, let's talk a little bit of sports.
Sports?
Sports.
Which sports?
Sports.
We can talk about how one team screwed you.
We're going to talk about that.
We can talk about how that team did good for me.
Let's talk about that. So, for those of you that know me, I like to place a few shekels now and then on some games of chance in the sporting
That wasn't
world.
chance. That should have been easy.
Games of chance. Well, in other words, chance I could lose. It's a game of
Sports
chance.
betting. We got it.
Yes. So looking at the EPL,
English Premier League,
soccer for us Americans, I came across 4 teams that I liked. You had Wolverhampton.
team in 7th,
Yes. Chelsea,
4th,
Liverpool,
1st,
and Manchester City.
2nd. Playing
Wolves were playing Southampton.
They're like 14th.
No. They weren't playing Southampton.
West Ham.
West Ham.
They're in 17th.
Yes. Chelsea was playing Aston Villa.
19th.
Liverpool was playing Everton.
13th.
And City was playing who?
Burnley. They're in like 9th or
Ninth.
10th.
Okay. So anyway, I played a parlay with these 4 teams. So in order to hit the parlay, you have to win all 4 games.
All they had to do was win.
Yes. Win. And I put $100 on it. And I would have got back like 340 or so.
You were feeling pretty confident.
Yeah.
As long as Wolverhampton
Yes.
won.
Now, yes, Wolverhampton was going to be the main thing, and they wound up winning 2-0.
2-0.
That game was on a Saturday. The Chelsea game was on a Sunday. The Liverpool game was on a Sunday, and the Manchester City game was yesterday. So the Chelsea game comes, and at halftime, it's 1-0 Aston Villa.
Chelsea and the whole half was in the Aston Villa half. Basically, there was a tweet that came out that said, Chelsea possession 80, Aston Villa 20, Aston Villa 1-0. That's soccer or football.
Yes. Well, Chelsea scored 2 goals rather quickly in the second half. In fact, they were like 1 minute and 40 seconds apart. Or
yeah, because
like
they brought on Pulisic.
Yes.
They brought on the American. How many times was that ever said?
Yeah, not many.
They brought on the American. That's why they won.
That's for sure. So Chelsea ended up winning 2-1. So let's skip to the Monday game.
Okay.
I turned the game on. It was like 20-some minutes in. I was switching between soccer and the NASCAR game. The NASCAR race. It was like 23 minutes in and the score was 0-0.
This is a derby, by the way.
Okay.
Everton, Liverpool, they're 3 blocks apart.
Okay, but we're talking about the Manchester City game right now.
Oops.
Yes.
Wrong game.
Pay attention.
I had a fantasy.
I said we're going to skip that game. We're going to go this.
I had fantasy in that game.
Okay. So 23 minutes in, it's 0-0. The next time I turned it on was like 52 minutes in. It was 4-0 Manchester City.
Yes.
They wound up winning 5-0.
Phil Foden scored twice. Guess who took him out last minute in his fantasy?
You did!
Because De Bruyne wasn't starting, so I was like, ooh, because you have like a salary budget, and each player has a salary, and De Bruyne wasn't playing. He was my highest, so I took him out, so I took Foden out and put in a better midfielder, and Foden scores twice. I had Mahrez.
Attaboy.
I put in Mahrez, though. He scores twice.
Yes.
I had David Silva. He scored.
Yes.
So it worked out. But I took out Foden. I would have won by a lot more. I did win. So that's good.
Did you win any money?
Yes.
Okay.
Like $25.
Really?
Yes.
But how much more do you think you would have won if you didn't take him out?
Still the same. It was a head-to-head.
Then what does it matter?
It didn't matter, but it was just like, what the hell?
So anyway, to complete this parlay, all I need is Liverpool to go into Everton and win.
Easy.
Now, Liverpool is in what place?
First.
By how many points?
22.
22. They're probably going to set the record for largest point differential between first and second.
By probably
lot.
at least 6 or 7 points.
Yes.
They're going to probably set the record for most points.
Yes.
By a minimum right now of, they're projecting at like 107 and the record's 100.
Yes.
They're projected to have the most wins at 33 or 34 out of 37 games.
Yes, right now they have played, 32 games before that game?
Yes.
They had 30 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie.
And
30 wins,
their
1 loss,
tie
1
was
tie.
to a team that I think was in last at the time.
Yes. Yes.
And they tied Manchester United.
So, Everton scored 0. 0.
Yeah, 0.
You watched the game
I
with
watched
me.
them score a big goose egg.
So all I need Liverpool is to score 1.
And you probably didn't like their starting lineup at first.
I did not.
They started a 19-year-old Japanese
Yes.
guy because they basically need... They're going to win the title.
Yes.
So they're trying out new guys.
Yes.
Getting some young legs in there and,
Yes.
And how many did Liverpool score?
None! Son of a bitch!
Who should have won the game?
Everton!
How many?
They probably had the 4 best scoring chances in that whole game. Of course, the one time I would bet them, and they played like crap.
Oh yeah, that's the worst they've played. Probably except for Watford. Hey, I did good today.
Oh yeah, today what do you call play today?
Leicester and
Leicester.
Brighton.
Yeah.
0-0.
Oh really?
Brighton had a penalty that got saved.
I'm glad I didn't bet that game because I would have lost that.
Tottenham played West Ham. I was playing fantasy in that one too.
Yeah.
Took that $25 and just threw it back into that game. Turned it to 50. That's easy.
Is this actual money?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It costs $5 to get 15, and I've worked it all the way up to 50.
Excellent.
This is easy.
Don't play Liverpool.
Actually, I was thinking about playing Liverpool tomorrow.
Well, they're at home, so you
They're
can play
playing.
them.
Actually, I did already. I already put it down. I already put the $50 down
No.
to make 100 almost.
Well, then you don't want me to play them.
No, it's fantasy. It's way different than yours.
You don't want me to play them.
I do it by player, not by. I could care less if Crystal Palace wins. It doesn't matter if they tie, win, lose. As long as Mane scores, I win pretty much.
Only me. Only me. Actually, not only me. Let's talk about you.
Me?
Let's talk about you.
What did I do?
So for those of you that joined us on Friday, we went over the picks for the Belmont.
Ah! I'm so mad about this one. Oh, I think I could pull up my...
We both liked, if you remember, the 8-horse to win. He was going to go off as the favorite, and he did go off the favorite. I liked the 3 and the 10, and he liked the 4 and the 9 to go with it. Now, I ended up hitting the race. I bet some exactas, and I should have bet some trifectas, but I did bet some exactas. 8 with some horses. It ended up coming 8-9-3.
Yes.
Is what it ended up coming. So he would have hit the exacta if he played. If we put our horses together, we would have hit the trifecta. In fact, the 10 came in 4th. If we played the superfecta, we would have hit that. So this kid does this free entry thing. He gets six chances. Was it through NBC Sports? Or
No, it's through FanDuel.
FanDuel.
I got 6 free entries, and if you hit the trifecta, you get a share of 10 grand.
Yes.
And
So-
there was like 100 and some thousand entries.
So now, with your 6 free entries, you put the 8 on top of all
of them,
6.
all of them.
So it came 8-9-3, right?
Yes.
Why don't you tell the people your 6 entries?
I had my first entry that got me the most points.
Yeah.
Since it was at least by points, so like every single time I got 12 points because I
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
8-3-9.
8-3-9. Not 8-9-3, 8-3-9.
So you'd think I would have also put 8-9-3, right?
You would think.
Then we have 8-9-4
8-9-4.
because I like the 4.
Yeah.
And I thought if he came in, I would have probably got a good share of that.
Yeah.
If he comes
The
in.
4 was the long shot you liked. The 3 was the long shot I liked.
Yes. I gotta load all my entries. 8-2-3.
8-2-3. Yeah. Sol Valente was the 2. Yeah.
I think we both liked the 2.
We sort of liked the 2, yeah.
I think I liked the 2 more than you did.
You did.
8-1-3.
8-1-3, because the 1 was the second choice. He wound up finishing 5th.
Yes.
In the race.
8-3-10.
8-3-10, so 1st, 3rd, 4th. So you played my horses.
And then 8-1-4.
8-1-4.
Out of all of those, the last one's the only one I didn't make any money on.
Yeah.
The first one I made $3.77 and 75 cents, 50-50, and 36 cents.
So you played 8-3-9, but not 8-9-3.
And if I played 8-9-3, I would have got about $35
yeah.
extra.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Hey, as long as Liverpool does good for me tomorrow, I'll make $100. And Van Aanholt on Crystal Palace, because he's the defender I chose. Hey, for today, my defender that I chose got me the most points, I think.
Did it?
No, he didn't.
Our message board is quiet. I still don't know if it's working or not.
But I got 88.25 points today.
Yeah.
My captain got me 30 points.
Yeah.
He got an assist and a couple shots.
Yeah.
Harry Kane got me 30 points as well. He had a goal. And the guy I was facing at him as his captain. Your captain, you get 1.5 points. And I got nervous for a second. I'm like, wait, I'm beating him by 30 anyways. My defender got me almost 20 points, and my other 2 guys got me 5.
Okay.
So 88.25.
Yeah.
$45.
Yeah. Good. Good.
This fantasy thing's easy. I don't know how you lose so much money. I really don't.
So, let's transition into... Go ahead.
Maybe it's because I follow soccer and it makes it easier. Because I know who's playing good.
Yeah.
And I actually pay attention. These guys, I bet you, are just picking favorite teams and the best players. On paper.
So, in the news Monday morning, for those of you that are not NASCAR fans...
Which is us.
I like NASCAR.
We've only been watching it because it's the only sport to watch.
Hello, I used to watch it all the time in the 80s and 90s. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you in the 80s and 90s when I was watching NASCAR?
Dead.
You weren't dead. You weren't even... You were dead.
Not alive.
Dead would mean you had life at some point.
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did. Maybe you did.
Not alive. Better?
Yes.
I was in the womb. Your womb.
You were in my womb. So anyway, so the race was Sunday. It got postponed by rain and the money. So the news breaks Monday that a noose was found in Bubba Wallace's garage. Bubba Wallace, for those of you that don't follow NASCAR, is the only black NASCAR driver. So, very bad. That's not good at all. That's not good at all. Right now there's a big controversy with the Confederate flag because NASCAR is all about being a rebel, and the Confederate flag back in the 1800s was the Confederacy. It's kind of transitioned. The Confederate flag is now about being a rebel, except if you're a millennial. And it still stands for racism. Yeah. So the Confederate flag is basically disappearing. And there was a lot of Confederate flags on the road to Talladega. Talladega's in Alabama. So, deep south. Mm. So, NASCAR had an investigation. They called in the FBI. And it turns out that it was a false alarm. Thankfully. Supposedly it was the pull cord to the garage door that... And Bubba wasn't the one that saw this. It was a member of his team, apparently. But where I want to go with this is the narrative of the media. Because they just ran with the story. They ran with it. Back in the day, the media never did such a thing. They always waited to find the facts. Well, we don't wait to find the facts of anything anymore. And I'm not just talking about CNN and MSNBC. I'm also talking about Fox. They do the same thing. It's like they hear the story and they just go because they got to be the first. They got to be the first. Got to be the first. Got to be the first. Got to be first. Got to be first. Well, it turned out that it wasn't true. that it was there since at least last October, and it wasn't a noose. It was the pull strap for the garage door. To my shocking surprise, CNN and MSNBC, at least on their Twitter page, ran a story to say what it was. That it wasn't actually a noose.
And a noose look exactly the same.
Now, I will say CNN had it worded badly. They said the noose was a pull cord. So they're still saying it was a noose. So, of course, CNN would, pop at it. But, shockingly, at least they said something. Now, you go under the responses to it, and, of course, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's a CNN and MSNBC watchers, that can't be, the FBI, no, this smells fishy, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, none of these people watch NASCAR.
Yeah.
Because if you watch NASCAR, even if you don't watch, I went to one NASCAR race in my life at Pocono. Didn't really enjoy because I don't really like the track. Put me down at Talladega or Daytona, I would like that race. or a short track.
I think I'd like that. Delaware, is it?
Delaware, Monster Mile. High bank, yeah. You would like that track? I would like that track.
It's a full stadium around it.
Yes.
So it actually, you can see the whole race.
I mean, let's think about this. How expensive are these cars that are in this garage?
Millions.
Everything
that's in there. Millions.
Don't you think there's cameras all over the place?
And you think somebody would go in there and place a noose and not take a single thing?
Don't you think they would have been caught on camera by somebody?
I'm sure they looked at the camera footage enough.
But of course you can't explain that to anybody who watches the Communist News Network or MSNBC. Because again, you look at their faces of the people and, they kind of look millennial-ish. Anyway. So I didn't bother commenting because Lord knows I would have been called a racist. Anyway.
You're white, you're racist.
So, speaking of racism, a lot of vandalism going on right now across the country.
Yeah, it's been like that for the last month. Where have you been?
Lately it's...
Right there.
What? What?
That chair right there. Social
yes.
distancing.
Yes.
And working.
Yes. Lately it's gone to statues. Statues.
Didn't our president say something about that?
President didn't. That guy.
Well, is it a 10 years in prison if you vandalize one?
Yeah.
Or up to.
Up to. Because they tried to take down my favorite president. My favorite president. Oh, wait.
Maybe not. They don't want to have their secrets available to, competition.
Well, it's not like they're having cameras in the engine, looking right at the engine compartment.
They're just there to watch.
They're there for security. But anyway, so, they tried to pull down the statue of my favorite president, Andrew Jackson. Little history lesson why I'm a big fan of Andrew Jackson. The guy in the back, Daniel.
I'm not in the back. I'm in the front.
Why is he my favorite president?
He got us out of debt.
He's the only president to ever eliminate the national debt. How did he do that? By not renewing the charter of the National Bank. Excellent. Excellent. Wish they would do that now.
Take a little longer to get out of debt. Many presidents.
Also, he was a man of the people. He was a man of the people. The common folk loved him.
So was William Howard Taft.
The common folk...
He completely ignored me.
The common folk loved Jackson. We may not have had another man of the people until this guy came along.
I thought Roosevelt was or something.
Oh, we'll talk about Roosevelt. At least FDR. We're going to talk about FDR.
No, I'm not talking about the disabled one.
Okay, so you're talking about Teddy.
Teddy
was the first progressive president.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I just remember he was popular. That's what we learned.
Walk softly and carry a big stick. That was Teddy Roosevelt.
We learned that he was a very popular president.
He was kind of popular. He was.
That's what we learned in
You know what else he was? He was kind of portly.
He was a little portly. You know who came after him?
Of course I know who came after him.
Who came after him?
That guy. Come on.
Taft.
And then?
And
then the worst president we've ever had.
I don't know. The worst president? Who came after Taft? Who came
The absolute worst president we've ever had. A lot of people that follow conservatives would say Obama was the worst president. No.
Hey, Siri.
No.
What president came after Taft? I don't want anything on Howard Taft. I want the one after Taft, you stupid thing.
Shall I wait?
Yes.
I'll give you a hint. He was governor of New Jersey.
Thanks.
First New Jersey governor that ran a
Roosevelt.
No.
Yeah.
Was Taft before Roosevelt, by chance? Since I don't know quite the order of presidents.
Theodore Roosevelt, wasn't it?
Did he come after Taft?
That's what it says.
Okay, then who came after Roosevelt?
We're getting there. Our internet's trash down here.
Oh, my internet works fine.
Well, this chair sucks. Was it Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson, the worst president ever.
Yeah, it says Taft left office in 1913, defeated by Woodrow Wilson.
There you go. Worst president ever. Ever. Worst president ever.
Okay.
By the way,
Why?
how come they're not closing Princeton? How come we don't have Michelle Obama talking about Woodrow Wilson? We want to talk about what Woodrow Wilson did? This isn't why I consider him the worst president. But let's talk about what Woodrow Wilson did. Woodrow Wilson segregated the federal workforce. What does that mean? He took all the whites, he took all the blacks and separated them. Put the whites out front, put the blacks in the back. That's what Woodrow Wilson did. And by the way, he also paid the blacks less money. That's the legacy of Woodrow Wilson. That's one legacy of Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson is without a doubt the worst president the United States of America has ever had. Look up what he did as president. He was god awful. One day we could do a whole show on Woodrow Wilson. Because trust me, I could do a whole show on Woodrow Wilson.
I know nothing about Woodrow Wilson.
Well, he was also president when the First World War broke out. Threw a lot of people in jail. If you...
we sent people to Europe for basically zero reason.
He passed signed the Espionage Act, which basically had nothing to do with spies. If you spoke badly about the war, you got thrown in jail. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson. Find out what he did to Eugene Debs, Woodrow Wilson. We could talk about Woodrow Wilson for a long time. But you got me off track now.
Okay.
Now you got me off track. We were talking about Andrew Jackson, and we ended up on Woodrow Wilson.
Close. They're the same.
They were both Democrats. Could you believe my favorite president's a Democrat? Can you believe that?
Yeah, but that Democrat's different from liberal.
Yes, but could you believe...
But you may have agreed with Democrats back in the 1800s on some things.
Mm-hmm.
You would have been a definite neutral back then.
Well, back then, you had the Democrat-Republican Party.
So you probably would have been that.
Can you imagine my favorite president is a Democrat? After how I slammed Democrats,
but that's today, and back then they're a lot different.
Okay, that's because I've taught you a lot. But if I didn't teach you any of that stuff,
I guess it's surprising to the average folk.
Amazing to believe. So anyway, so you got all this vandalism going on. How come we don't have members of Congress speaking out about this? Other than Tom Cotton, by the way. God forbid a stupid Democrat comes out and says this is wrong. You haven't heard one. Haven't heard one. In fact, You haven't really heard a Republican come out either. Haven't heard of one come out and say, let's stop this. Let's talk about people from Pennsylvania since we're in Pennsylvania. Let's talk about our 2 senators. Pat Toomey, love ya. Where are you? Where are you saying this is wrong? This has to stop.
I wrote a letter to him one time.
Well, good for you.
I got a response.
As you should.
I forget what we were talking about.
Senator Casey. Senator, the best thing I could say about you is the sperm cells that came out of your father never actually got into your mother because you could never carry the weight of your father. Your father was a reputable man. For those that don't know, Casey's father was governor of Pennsylvania back in the 80s or early 90s. I believe it was the 80s. Democrat. But that's okay. You can't carry the jockstrap of your father. You are as useless as my dad would say, a trapdoor in a canoe. You are useless. Useless.
That would make no sense.
Useless. I hope your father is rolling around in his grave saying, why is my son so useless?
He's a trapdoor in a canoe.
Useless. But where are you? Where are you, Casey? Where are you? My congressman, user, Dan, love ya, conservative. Where are you? Where the hell are you? Come out. Talk about this stuff. Say how it's wrong. This is anarchy going on in this country. And it's only going to get freaking worse. Do you see the videos that go around every day? There's a video last night of a guy throwing a firework on a homeless guy. Seriously. Come on. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with the leadership in this country except for this guy? This guy's fighting a one-man freaking battle. What comments are we getting?
The first Dem to come out and speak against it will be a hero missing an OP.
Yes. 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 Where's George Takei? George Takei likes to sit on his Twitter account all day long and bash Trump. How come George Takei never bashes FDR? There's your other Roosevelt that I said we were going to get to. What? Anybody know what FDR may have done to George Takei? For those of you that don't know George Takei, he was Sulu in the original Star Trek TV series. What could FDR have done to George Takei? Any idea?
When the hell was he even president?
President from the 30s to the 40s.
Well,
they passed the constitutional amendment because of him, because he was elected 4 times. And then he died, and then Truman took over.
You don't like Truman either, I'm pretty sure.
He was alright.
That could be a whole thing. Do we like this president, or do we not like this
Most of them are going to be no, I don't like him.
George Washington.
Anybody know what FDR did to George Takei? Bueller? Bueller? I will tell you. FDR put George Takei and his family in an internment camp during World War II. Like he did to a lot of Japanese Americans. Never see George Takei talking about that on his Twitter feed. I wonder why. Could it be because FDR is a Democrat? You think?
Probably.
If he should be slamming any president, why isn't he slamming FDR for putting him in an internment camp, for crying out loud? Let's pull up another actor. John Cusack. I'm a big John fan.
Who the hell is that?
He's an actor.
Thanks, I got that part.
I like his work. I think he's a great actor.
A wheel and a wall. Whose quote is this? I'll give you the answer and the rest of it after you guess.
Huh? What?
A wheel and a wall. Whose quote is this? I'll give you the answer and the rest after you guess.
That was Carl's quote. I don't know. No. Anyway. John Cusack. John Cusack is on Twitter all day long, ripping that guy. All day long. Take a guess where John Cusack lives.
2 things that will never be obsolete. A wheel and a wall.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
I don't either. Are you trying to be like there's some kid's grandfather that's like 12 and he's fishing with his grandfather and the grandfather's trying to give him advice?
Sure.
Or like if we went fishing, you were trying to give me advice, I'd just be like, shut the hell up. I can't ever see me and you going fishing.
Yeah. I
Get
used
a
to
boat.
fish all the time.
Get a boat. We'll go fishing.
We'll go fishing, sure.
Get a boat.
You're too...
If
You're
you
too
wanna...
cheap to buy a license, first off.
Huh?
How many times have we discussed this? You need a license to fish.
It's probably not that expensive.
You're too cheap to buy one.
$30.
It's not even that much.
Exactly. I'll buy a freaking license to fish.
Where is John
Jesus.
Cusack from? Anybody? 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 Where's he living right now? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Bueller?
Bueller. Let me tell you, Chicago.
Chicago.
What goes on in Chicago every weekend?
Murder.
102 people shot last weekend.
In the foot?
102 people. I don't know how many of them died, but it was 3 or more. Something like that. One was a 3-year-old girl.
Said today
or
by
boy.
our president.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
Apparently our president said a wheel and a wall. 2 things that'll never be obsolete.
That's true.
What does that have to do with anything?
It sounds like we're playing $25,000 pyramid right now. John Cusack rips this guy all the time. He lives in Chicago. What the hell's going on in Chicago? We've talked about this before. You have a Democratic mayor and you have 50 aldermans. Aldermans are kind of like deputy mayors. They're in charge of this area and this area and this area and this area. He's got, Beetlejuice, Mayor Beetlejuice, has 50 of them. 46 Democrats, 4 independents. How many does that leave Republicans?
0.
Let's see here. 46 plus 4, 0, carry the 1. 50. How many aldermen do we have? 50. So that means how many Republicans are there?
Goose egg.
But
0.
you want to sit and complain about Republicans all day, John Cusack. I cannot wait till Trump wins. I am going to be on Twitter. I'm going to be on Twitter to George Takei. I'm going to be on Twitter to John Cusack. I'm going to be on Twitter to Bill Kristol, the freaking
And what
ass
part
wife.
of you thinks that any of them will even ever read your tweet?
I'm going to be on Twitter to John Bolton now, and I'm going to say, my tweet's going to be, who's your daddy for the next 4 years? Who's your daddy?
That's a weird way to put it.
Who's your daddy? Bitches.
Apparently you did not listen to his speech today in Arizona. So
I did not
carry
listen
on.
to his speech today. I was working.
You do that?
Be that as it may, I do.
Maybe if you were to look at the stock market, you'd be not working and you would have said a bye-bye to your boss and said, I am retiring. And we'd have a boat.
We'd have a boat.
We can go out to Blue freaking Marsh.
We'd probably have a dinghy.
What do we need a dinghy for?
Probably have a dinghy. So, I want to end the show tonight.
Already?
We've yeah, it is 8:45 already.
No, it doesn't feel like it's 8:45.
So, I was talking to a friend of mine.
You have friends?
I have to pay for them, but you know.
Okay.
So, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they're in the millennial generation, and they know how I feel about millennials. They know that
They probably watch our show.
They've caught an episode or two, yes. But we were talking politics because this person really doesn't understand a lot.
So they weren't going, you're racist!
I did say that to them. I said go back and watch the episode from like a week ago. You'll see how I say millennials react. I did say that. So anyway,
I didn't get my check, friend. What? I don't get it.
It's in the mail, friend. I said I paid to have friends.
Oh.
It's in the mail.
It says my's in capital, too. I didn't get my check.
So anyway,
Friend.
this person sends me a screenshot of a political quiz that they took.
Okay.
Because they were trying to figure out, am I a Democrat? Am I a Republican? You know, what the hell am I? No one ever explains anything to me. And it says that they're a Democrat. So I'm like, okay. I said, I don't know what test you took. I said, let me send you the test, a really good test that I took. It's only 10 questions. So I sent it.
You have to send me this test.
I've sent it to you. I've sent you that test.
I remember took a political test.
Yes, I've sent you this test.
Well, send
it's
it to
10
me
questions
again.
long.
Send it to me again.
And she took it. It's a she, and it came out that she was a centrist, 60% centrist.
I have no idea what that is.
In the middle, centrist, center.
You know what?
Keep up.
You don't gotta be
up here.
You don't gotta be an ass about
Can
it.
you keep up here?
No, I'm gonna keep down.
Can you keep
I'm
up?
gonna keep down.
So I sent them another text, and this one came back that they were a moderate Democrat. So I took the test that she originally took, and it asked some very misleading questions. Very, very misleading questions. And I got that I was a moderate Republican. By the way, on the 10-question test, it says I'm a libertarian. It says I'm on economic issues, I'm 100% libertarian. On social issues, I'm 80% libertarian. And that's because I'm not 100% because there's a question about legalization of drugs, and I don't think drugs should be legal. So that makes me not 100% libertarian. I'm only 80% libertarian when it comes to social issues. So I told my friend that I would have a discussion on the show tonight on socialism because she thinks she likes socialism.
Okay.
Now remember, she's a millennial. So what does she know about? The only thing she knows about socialism is what she's hearing from Bernie. Feel the burn. Free college. Let's face it, the price of college sucks.
I'm gonna graduate with less than $20,000.
Yeah, thanks to me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna graduate with less than $20,000.
Thanks to me.
What'd you graduate with?
I graduated with $11,000 worth of debt from a private school.
Impressive.
Yes, from a private school.
You want a cookie?
No.
I can go buy.
And that's not because I got a lot of scholarships, because I didn't get a lot of scholarships. It's because the price of college was cheap. Back when I graduated, again, when Woodrow Wilson was president.
Yes, Woodrow Wilson was president when you graduated college.
Actually,
Okay.
I graduated when Bill Clinton was president.
Oh, yeah.
I started college when Papa Bush was president.
Monica Lewinsky, what?
Monica, yes. that happened after I graduated. But anyway, so what does she know? She hears free college. And that's great because so many kids graduate college today with 6-figure debt. How the hell are they ever going to pay that off? It's like paying a second mortgage. How the hell are they ever going to pay that? I'm definitely in the camp that college is too expensive. I will agree with that all day long. They got to find a way to make it cheaper.
Oh, that's easy. Just stop taking that much profit. I can only imagine what Penn State rakes in a year.
Okay, so now that gets into the concept of socialism. Thank you for saying that. That gets into the concept of socialism. Socialism is, what is the big saying of socialism? Bueller? From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. No privatization of anything in socialism. Socialism inevitably leads to communism, where communism, the state owns everything. So, yes, to these young millennials who don't know any better, who've been indoctrinated into progressivism in their schooling, we have lost this generation and at least the next generation. Again, I've asked you, did you ever get the conservative viewpoint in school?
It's a good one.
It's even worse in college.
My professors haven't really done anything that
Okay.
that I noticed. Maybe just my philosophy teacher. If I really look back into his teaching style, I'm sure I could find. But a lot of my professors don't really go political.
Yes. So, you can understand why millennials like the idea of socialism. I actually have a statistic here where today, what is it? Millennials today, it's like 40% of them want to dump capitalism for socialism, or is it 70%, something like that. It's a kind of high number, and it's growing every year. They do this amongst millennials. It grows. Now they started to find in Generation Z, it starts to decline a little bit. That's because Generation Z, they listen to me. They watch this show.
Every single person in Generation Z watches this show,
and if they're not, they should be. They should be.
In the whole world.
Yes. So, if my friend is watching tonight, so you only know all the good things of socialism. Let's talk about the bad things of socialism. You ready? Let me see your phone.
You see it? No, you don't.
Let me see it. Say goodbye to it, because it's gone. It's gone. You're never going to see this again. It's gone. See ya. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye. I kind of need that.
It's gone. It's gone.
Why?
Because that's how socialism works.
Well,
Everything
I'm not allowed
disappears
to...
in socialism. Socialism has never worked anywhere in the history of the world, especially the larger the country. Now, why is that? Again, each according to his abilities, to each according to their needs. I have a friend who's now a Republican. His name is Eric. He watches this show from time to time. If you're watching Eric, hello. He used to be a big-time socialist. We used to have these discussions all the time. And one day I said to him, Eric, I said, let me talk to you about this. He was really good at writing. He could have been a writer if he applied himself a little more. And he should still apply himself a little more because he was really good at it. I said, so you go write a book and you're going to make the same amount of money as the person who's going to sell the book. Huh? Really? Who put in the work? You're the one that put in the blood, sweat, and tears to make the book. I'm just the schmuck that sits on a stool all day and someone comes and buys your book. I take the money, I ring up the cash register, I get paid the same amount of money you do. How is that fair?
It's not.
It's not fair. But now, your paycheck, your gross pay might be higher than mine, but you're going to pay a hell of a lot more in taxes than I am because we're all equal. And socialism is all about equality. Everybody's equal. The state owns everything. There's no privatization. The state owns everything. So now, what's huge in socialism? The welfare state. This is why socialism fails everywhere it's always tried, because the welfare state is so huge, because they promise everybody everything and they can't pay for it. It can't be paid for. So let's give everybody a lesson, especially you millennials who might be watching, a lesson in economics. Okay? Okay? And we could use what's going on in the world right now. So, I go to the grocery store. Okay? I buy a pound of meat.
Ugh.
At $3.98 a pound. 80% lean, 20% fat, $3.98 a pound. Okay. We let in all these illegals. We have all these people on welfare that we have to pay. Where do we get the money from to pay for this stuff? We take loans from the Federal Reserve, or we take loans from China or Japan or whatever. Our biggest indebtor is the Federal Reserve, going back to the first Bank of the United States back in the 1800s. See how everything kind of goes around here with me? So we keep taking loans and taking loans and taking loans. So what do we have to do with the printing press? We got to fire up that printing press and print more money 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 and print more money. What happens to the value of our money when we print more? Guy in the back, Daniel. The value of our money goes down.
We don't get more money. We just get more paper that just turns in the same amount of money.
Right. So the next time I go to the store to buy meat, now it's not $3.98 anymore. It's now $5.98 a pound.
But you ain't making any more money.
But I'm not making. That's correct. I'm actually losing money because I'm making the same amount, but the value of my money is less. That's why fiat currency, this paper money that we have, sucks. It's valueless. Yes, it says this is $1, but its value is 0. It's only backed by the full faith and credit of the United States of America. And the more of these they print, the less buying power I have.
You remember when stuff was 5 cents?
Oh, gumballs.
Gumballs. You said those were a penny.
Yeah, I remember they were.
What can you get with a penny today? Pennies are basically the most useless coin in the American currency.
There's times where they're worth more than a penny when the value of copper goes up. So anyway.
But yeah, let's just get rid of pennies.
So anyway. So. We're printing more dollars now, and now the price goes up. So when the price goes up, the people on welfare can't afford it, so they got to increase their welfare payments. They got to go up. Right? Cost of living increase for those of you on welfare. Well, the government doesn't have enough money to pay for it. Does it sound like a never-ending circle? What happens when the government doesn't have enough money to pay the people on welfare? Let's fire up that printing press. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Have more money. What happens to the value of the dollar when there's more money? The guy in the back. It goes down, and now my meat is no longer $5.98 a pound. It's now $9.98 a pound. It's a never-ending process. This is why socialism won't work, especially in a big country, especially a country that wants open borders. For crying out loud, like the Democrats want. Open borders will kill this country as quick as anything. So for all my friends that want socialism, that is your lesson in economics. It doesn't work. Do you understand? You understand.
I understand.
You understand. Now, capitalism is awesome except for one thing. There's one bad word that comes along with capitalism. Greed. Now, if you watch one of my favorite movies, Michael Douglas's character says, greed is good. Greed isn't good. Greed is what basically caused the Depression. Greed is what basically caused the collapse in 2008. That is the downfall of capitalism because greed. If we could find a way to get rid of greed in capitalism, capitalism would survive. There would be no talk of socialism because socialism fails everywhere. So what are some of the downfalls of socialism? Other than it's never worked anywhere. The founding father of socialism, you may have heard this name, Karl Marx. Marxism. By the way, for those of you that are all up in the Black Lives Matter movement, it's interesting. This is kind of going to be a little controversial here. I'm all for Black Lives Matter, but I'm not for Black Lives Matter movement. Go on the Black Lives Matter website sometime. We're not even going to talk about it if you go to their fundraising page that it goes to Act Blue, which Act Blue donates to all these progressive candidates. Go find their platform. It's all about change. It's all about destruction of capitalism. There's nothing about police brutality on their website anywhere. At least I couldn't find it anywhere. The women that started Black Lives Matter are Marxists. They will tell you that. You go watch interviews with them. They will tell you they are Marxists. The minority races, again, go back to the time of Woodrow Wilson. See how, again, it goes all in a circle. The Socialist Party of America, under Eugene Debs, talked about him earlier, tried to get all these minorities in because they knew that would grow the Socialist Party of America. And Woodrow Wilson threw him in jail using the Espionage Act. What else is here? Socialism forbids the age-old right of private property. We talked about that a little earlier. The government owns it. Who gets rich under socialism? There are people that get rich under socialism. It's very few. You think there's very few people that get rich under capitalism. You know who gets rich under socialism? The people that run the government get rich. Again, let's look at all the big cities in America. Why is it that the people who run these big cities all seem to have a lot of money? Politicians aren't supposed to have a lot of money. Why is it everybody who's in the Senate and in the House of Representatives are basically rich? Even Bernie Sanders, who says he's not rich, he's rich. And we could talk about how Bernie Sanders became rich one day. We could talk about how he's not doing his presidential run to become president. He's doing it to make money. And we could talk about how he makes a lot of money every time he runs for president. We could have that conversation one day. And he's doing it legally. We could certainly have that conversation. Reading is fundamental, let me just tell you that. What else about socialism? It insists the human nature is malleable, not constant. Means it likes to change. You could influence people. How do you influence people? By giving them free health care and giving them free education. Let's sucker yous all in. We're not going to show you, we're only going to show you the good stuff. We're not going to show you all the bad stuff over here. But there's so much more bad stuff than good stuff. Socialism depends upon a dictatorship to remain in power. Let me say it again. Socialism depends on dictatorships to remain in power. How many people... One of the evilest men in the world, Adolf Hitler. You studied Adolf Hitler in school.
I did.
How many Jews did he murder?
6 million.
6 million. How many people, take a guess, have died under the flag of communism? Take a guess.
150 million.
A little less. They range it between 100 and 120 million people.
I'm just trying to figure out what the Soviet Union number would have been.
Yeah.
And China numbers.
Yeah. How many people do you think Stalin killed over the years?
Oh, millions.
Communism runs on fear. Again, I don't know if I ever said this on the show. I know I've said this to you a number of times. Under the old communist rule, when it was time to run for general secretary of the Soviet Union, basically the person who was in charge, how many candidates were on the ballot?
One.
The percentage of the population that voted?
100%.
99.99%. And there was one candidate. Why did 99.9% of the people come out and vote?
Because if they didn't, they died.
They were shot. They would just disappear. Fear is what keeps socialists in power. It's proven. It is proven. Socialism is responsible for the deaths of more than 100 million people. Yes, we just talked about that. Socialism never, ever, ever works, especially in a big country. Now, if we lived in Iceland, it might work. Because you don't see a lot of people flocking to get into Iceland. At least I don't think so.
Iceland is actually not always the worst place to live.
I never said it was.
It's a nice secluded area.
I mean, it might work in Luxembourg. Any small country where you could control the population and you could offer freedom. But again, you're going to have to pay a shitload. Look at the tax rates of countries that are socialist. 60, 70, 80%. Do you really want to give your money? You want to know why you're not going to have that phone? You can't afford it.
Vatican City.
Vatican City.
They could be socialist. Oh, Chaz.
We're not going to... Actually, the mayor of Seattle now is going to come in and break down Chaz because they had a murder.
Oh, but taking over 6 blocks is okay.
They had a murder. They have the highest per capita murder rate in the world.
What's that?
How
many people live there?
I don't know.
Like 10?
Of course, what the media doesn't tell you it was an African American that was shot. They don't tell you that, do they? They don't tell you that. At least CNN and MSNBC. Anybody have any questions on socialism? If you are watching tonight, feel free to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me tonight. I will prove to you through Facebook Messenger, if I have to, why socialism will not work in this country.
I'll move if that ever happens.
Capitalism isn't perfect, but it's the best we have.
I will be moving to Iceland. You are allowed to come.
I wouldn't mind seeing the black beaches of Iceland.
That's why I'd want to go to Iceland, because there's like hot water there, and it's...
Yes. What comments do we have before we go?
All the students Trump spoke in front of today in Arizona were loving his speech. It was refreshing to see some of my generation get it.
Talking about Speaking of his speech, for those of you that may have watched Saturday's speech, you gotta love the mainstream media. So, they were talking about how 1 million people were requesting tickets, but supposedly it was fake. That people who never intended to show up were requesting tickets, and people like from South Korea were doing it, and now AOC came out and said to the South Koreans, keep doing it. Well, isn't that election interfering? Isn't that election interfering?
I got two things.
Isn't that election interfering? But anyway, so yeah, there was like 6,500 people there or so. So of course now the media's like, Trump supporters are down. Oh, he's going to lose. His supporters are down. Supporters are down. You know what they didn't tell you? Fox News that covered his speech. By the way, I looked. CNN and MSNBC did not cover his speech. I was flipping through the channels during his speech. CNN and MSNBC did not cover his speech, but Fox did. Fox had their largest viewership ever on a Saturday night. Ever.
I got two things.
He's going to win. Don't worry. He's going to win. If he doesn't win, God help us all. Most important election of our life. You thought the last election was important. This one's even more important. And someday again, Democrats are going to have control, and God help us when Democrats have control. They can't have all three houses. They can't have the Senate, the presidency, and the House of Representatives. We can't let them do it like Obama had it. Our goose is like fucked if we ever do. What's your two things?
Well, there's reports now that the highest number of coronavirus cases is in Oklahoma.
Oh, of course. Well, yes, of course.
And there was a post I saw on Facebook. Your boy Sadazan shared it. Type in blank any 3-digit number, new cases, and something will come up. And I tried it 10 times, and an article came up every time with the exact number. What? I don't know if it's coming up with, there's an article that comes up that will automatically change its number. Because that's fake, is all hell. I can't type it. You can probably type in every number from 100 to 999 and an article will come up. Every time.
Of course.
That raises a little bit of an eyebrow.
You really lead me into stuff very well, I will say that. I was going to say this as we were signing off, so get our exit music ready. He brought up our buddy Josh Sadazan. I want you to keep him and his family in your prayers, if you would. Josh got married last year, and his lovely wife Stacy, her nickname is Peaches. Josh's nickname is Skip Moyer. There's a long story behind that. But I named Stacy Peaches. She had to be rushed to the hospital. She was 31 weeks pregnant. Josh came home from work, found her seizing on her bed, rushed her to the hospital. They had to do an emergency C-section. Baby Aubrey is fine. They took her off the ventilator, but please keep the Sadazan family in your prayers for the next couple weeks. Obviously, baby Aubrey is going to be in the NICU for, at least a few weeks. Stacy regained consciousness today at some point. Scary situation. If Josh didn't come home when he did, he may have lost Stacy and the baby. Scary situation. Very scary. So keep them in your prayers if you don't mind. And with that, we will see you Friday night. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't have a lot of viewership tonight, which is weird. It's weird. We have more viewership on Fridays than we do on Tuesdays. Why do you wouldn't think that? All right. Until we see you again. Wait, goodbye. See ya.